You are listening to Mining Stock Education, where you'll learn from the top leaders in the natural resource sector and uncover quality mining investment opportunities.
We had that good strike right before that we put out right before Christmas. So it's really just helped us, confirm and adapt our targeting and our interpretation of what's going on. And, I think that's reflected in the hit rates that we're starting to see out there, 55% above resource grade, almost 80% above the cutoff grade. And when you compare that to the resource drilling itself, including the measured and indicated portion, where historically the hit rate in that area is only 35%. So it's good confirmation that our model and our targeting are coming together nicely as we move forward here.
Welcome back to Mining Stock Education. I'm your host, Bill Powers. In today's show, we're getting an update from our sponsor, Fury Gold Mines. Fury just put out some good high-grade drill results from their Eau Claire project in the James Bay region of Quebec. So joining me is the SVP of Exploration, Brian Atkinson, as well as the CEO, Tim Clark. Gentlemen, welcome back onto the show.
Hey, Bill, how are you? Good to be back.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. And Brian, could I start with these results? So you put out some excellent high-grade results. You've had high-grade from the 3 zones that you're exploring in and around the Eau Claire project. What do these specific results mean for the company?
Yeah, great question as usual, and right to the point. What's interesting is this high-grade one, the 1.5 meters at almost 23 grams is shallow. So, in the Hinge, we've been looking deep. We've been looking at this plunge off to the west, and this hole we kind of drilled, at a different orientation just to kind of confirm our modeling, and it hit, with sort of within 150 meters of surface. So that's kind of broadened our scope up there. We've got, a lot of vertical room there. You pair that with what we hit at the gap zone, which, historically has been referred to as the gap. We hit 1 meter at 45 grams in there. These are high-grade zones. We like the high-grade aspect of the Eau Claire resource, and looking to expand upon that. And then obviously out at Percival, we had that good strike right before that we put out right before Christmas. So it's really just helped us confirm and adapt our targeting and our interpretation of what's going on. And I think that's reflected in the hit rates that we're starting to see out there. 55% above resource grade. Almost 80% above the cutoff grade. And when you compare that to the resource drilling itself, including the measured and indicated portion, where historically the hit rate in that area is only 35%. So it's good confirmation that our model and our targeting are coming together nicely as we move forward here.
Tim, so you did almost 18,000 meters of drilling last year. I believe you told the market at the outset you were going to do about 15,000, so you exceeded in terms of the meterage drilled. So congratulations on that. Your share price has also doubled since we last spoke, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But what are some of your reflections for last year?
Look, I've been in capital markets my entire career. The rule of thumb is when you create value, eventually you get recognized. And I think it was a hard pill to swallow last year, trying to do all the things that we did and just not seeing the recognition. And I think we're finally getting it. And, everybody wants to make money. And when you create something that's pretty obvious that there's value there, what I think we needed was that catalyst of that last drill hole at Percival that sort of said to everybody, these guys are real. We've got a potential. Percival's results were phenomenal, and we've got the Hinge, which is also phenomenal. I think, as I've pointed out to Brian and others, is I kind of coming here from a capital markets geological background. I look at this and I see this canard deformation zone that runs across this whole area. And we're just poking holes in part of it. There is a huge opportunity here with 55,000 acres. When we sat down with one of the majors, they're sitting there like, well, what's over here? You've got 45,000 hectares that you haven't really tested that much, and we know you're finding it over here. I think there's just a lot of upside for this company. We've got the joint venture we're going to be drilling this year. We finally got that cleaned up with Newmont, so we're waiting to hear back from them. and figuring out sort of like the target that we want to do. We've got the Hinge, we've got the Percival to go after. We've shown this, it gets bigger. Our idea is going to be to do a resource update at the end of the year. And, I like our optionality here in the face of what I think is going to be a much better year for precious metals.
You mentioned some corporate feedback, pointing out the exploration potential. Was there any corporate feedback that you got specifically on your Eau Claire drilling program?
No, for sure. I mean, what the feedback is that, typically a lot of the juniors hug the resource. We've been stepping out, and that's what they want to see. These majors, they believe in exploration, and they want to know that their money is stepping out and seeing how things get bigger, potentially for them to buy out later. And we're doing a lot of the things right. So from that standpoint, kudos to Brian and his team. We did outperform last year. We came in, had more meters than we expected for the money we spent. So investors should be happy with that. We also took down corporate costs by 30% last year. So good for me and our CFO to do that. And I think what, as someone said to me recently, one of the things you look for in these mining stocks is you want a well-run company, position well for a bull market. And I think it's us. I think we're a great name for that. We've got the Dolly Varden position on top of it. So we've got a lot of leverage with another great company that's well-run in the silver market that's surrounded by Hecla. And anybody can come in there and take those guys. And so for us, we have a financial wherewithal with $10 million in the bank right now heading in next year. I don't think there's too many juniors that have that either. So, we're off to a good start. I think we're finally caught up to where our value should have been a year ago. And I think we still have more upside to go.
So you just put out your last 3 holes, Tim. But as you know how investors are, the question is, what's next and when?
What's good?
Yep.
Yeah. What do you got?
What have you doing for me today?
Let's see. Yeah, you did this. Yeah. What are you going to get today? Yeah, for sure. Look, we're going to go after the Hinge and Percival and the joint venture. The joint venture is 50 cents on the dollar, so it's a no-brainer. We know there's gold there. We just don't know how much. And then, Percival is, I think, really exciting for the width that we're getting out there. And then the Hinge is real and is coming in above resource grade. And so it makes sense for us to go there. We haven't gotten all our data in quite yet and organized. So we're going to put together a budget and figure that out. And we'll announce that in coming weeks.
So Brian, you're going to be in front of the computer doing desktop work, I take it, for the next 30 days? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So we've got some exciting regional exploration. The results are just starting to come in for, along the Canard Deformation Zone at our La Clarke property, directly adjacent to Eau Claire. And then we're getting our results in from this year's program at the joint venture with Newmont. So, news-wise, I think as we get through that data and get some targeting out of that, we'll bring that out. And that's, these are greenfield sort of targets that we're looking at. So you get that bit of excitement of new discovery and everything like that. And then, we cycle back in and focus on the other 14 anomalies at Percival and finish up targeting, retargeting at the Hinge for this year based on what we've learned and, keep plugging away for sure.
Brian, for the resource estimate that Tim referenced for the end of the year, do you have a target in your head of what success would be for that?
I think, right now we've been working on the project for 2 years. We've done big step outs on both ends, and there's a lot of work still to tie it back in. But we're still sticking with that. We want to show the pathway to say 2+ million ounces and show that this can get there. Do we get there with this sort of next resource update? We're still got lots of work to do there, and what we're seeing is we're open. The gap, we've unlocked the historic gap zone. We've got the Hinge, which is all wide open to the west. Our westernmost hole out there is one of the best ones out there still, so lots of room. And then on the eastern end, we had some good strikes last year, and figuring it out a little bit more this year and into 2023. So
what I would add, Bill, is that I think we've gotten a lot better at targeting. And I think this is what some of the analysts have mentioned to me, that we need to do a better job conveying to investors, is there's been a big learning curve. And when you're more efficient with the drill bit, that makes a huge difference. And, I just wanted this to flag that, Brian, you've talked about it yourself. If you want to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah. A Hinge, if you take that specific example, and we kind of laid it out in this latest news release, where, we're exceeding the historical hit rate in the resource itself by 20%, which is, fairly significant given that, 2/3 of the deposit is in measured and indicated. So if we're hitting 20% better than all that 300,000 meters of historical drilling, that bodes well for, our targeting and our geological model and going forward as we push through the hinge and gap zones.
And Tim, you put out a press release. You're also having a new chair, Jeffrey Mason. Perhaps give a little background on Jeff.
Well, Jeff has been a board member for a long time, and he's had experience running other companies, and he's been a good ally for me since I've been here. And so he's joining the board, and he's very active, and he's been in the space based in Vancouver for a long time, and we're very happy to have him. I think he's going to be a big asset. His skill set is definitely trends along the capital markets and corporate side in terms of, governance and basic corporate, management.
So you have money in the bank. You're doing desktop work for the next month or so to lay out the targets and set the budget. Anything else investors should be looking for?
Well, I think they should be watching the gold market right now. I think it's going to be, the Fed is in a position where it could pause this summer. I've got a lot of investors that I've worked with historically who are extremely enthusiastic about the market, some of which who haven't been for a long time. So I think it's the time to brush, off your sort of gold stocks and take a look at them. And I think Fury should be one of them.
All right. The company's website is furygoldmines.com. Ticker symbol is FURY in Toronto and New York on the big boards, not on the Venture or the OTC. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show and providing this update.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.